Welcome back to Let's Talk here on the Big Z. Let's talk business today, and we thank the Riverbend Growth Association for their help. Debbie Hagan for helping to set that up. Thanks to Bob again from Scooter's Coffee. We switch gears a little bit, and really, if you're following the map in Godfrey, just around the corner, look for the humorous signs. And you'll find Karen Wilson State Farm Insurance there on Tolly Lane. Karen Wilson, welcome back.
Thank you.
Did I say your last name right?
Yes, Wilson. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thanks for being here and doing this for us.
Nice to be here. Always nice.
Well, for our listeners' sake, I never want to assume anybody knows any guest story, but you have a very unique story, I think, as a business person in the Riverbend, where insurance was not your first job, I guess, right? Or at least a career, although maybe it was early in the day because of your dad being involved in insurance, but it wasn't your first career.
No.
You went from one thing to another. So
that's right.
As a business person, when did you get the thought, the feeling that, maybe I'm going to be in business for myself one day?
Well, that's funny. I'm still trying to figure that piece out myself. You know how sometimes doors just open that you're not planning on, and you just are able to seize an opportunity that probably seemed strange to others more so than to me, because as you mentioned, I grew up in the insurance business. I was 2 years old when my dad became a State Farm agent, and so from a very young age, way back when, before computers or answering machines or anything, you took messages and all that. So from the time I was old enough to answer the phone, I had to know how to take a message and to get information and speak well on the phone for my dad's customers.
So that was really an early job then.
Yes. Yes.
Paid or not, it was steps. You were part of the business.
Exactly. My dad started out on the back porch of our house on Central Avenue, which is now probably part of the parking lot at OSF.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And so, I was familiar with that from a very young age. And then other than babysitting, my first, actual job was working weekends and summers in my dad's office.
Okay.
And I did that in college. And even after we got married, my husband and I got married, I worked there for a while I was still going to school. And then started a family, and that was my job. We chose let's back that up. I did sell some real estate for a while till the prime went to 20. And so
I'm out.
Yeah, I am out. Yeah. But so long story short, I got into the world of education, loved it, adored it. So insurance wasn't really on my radar, but a few little things happened that brought up the notion that I could do this.
Yeah.
And, that's what happened. Although when I started, it was like, what was I thinking? Because I'm the business owner. If I don't do well, then my paychecks don't do well. And I still have to pay my team members. And, I remember making payroll out of our home equity line of credit and crying at 11 o'clock at night. What the heck was I thinking?
Yeah.
But, there are business owners all over the world who've had to take risks. And it was worth it for me. I'm very happy with my decision, and it's been over 20 years. And I've got a great team. I work for, I represent a wonderful company, and Jake is in my office. Come see him, if you want to. A big cardboard cutout next to the coffee machine.
Right. So you got into business now over 20 years on the insurance side.
Yes.
A lot has changed in the insurance world.
Oh,
It was the big companies maybe at the time, State Farm and the others, and now that's expanded to even more companies and more choices. Everybody's got to shop around to find what's best for them, obviously. Right. But being with State Farm, being one of the, if not the top insurance company in the world. I don't know. Can they claim that? I mean, it's
I-
probably most well known, I would think.
Right. It is the largest auto insurer in the country, and I think there are some world statistics
Sure.
there. I don't have them at the tip of my tongue, but yeah, we're huge. But things have changed. The insurance industry and the consumer have changed so much from way back when that well, you never saw commercials for insurance companies, or not very many of them.
Mhm.
And now they've overtaken beer and other things for athletic events. It's all insurance and that sort of thing. And our consumers are different in that unfortunately, a lot of them feel like all they need to do is go online and get insurance. And,
Mhm.
sure, you can do that. You can do that through State Farm. But I think there's a piece that gets missed on having someone help you understand the risks that you have in life and what insurance can do to help.
And probably people underestimating what, the what ifs, what could
Oh,
happen. Like
yeah.
if this happens or I'd have this, well, that's probably enough for that car. That's
Sure.
enough for that home or renters or
Mhm.
whatever. Or even, as you roll the dice and think, well, I don't really need insurance. I'm just going to and from work. I'm just driving across town.
Right.
I can probably get by without any coverage. And so that's probably thrown into the mix too of our society right now.
Definitely. And, well, I'm a safe driver.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So am I. But things happen. You drop that hot scooter's coffee in your lap and go off into a ditch or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, things do happen. And sometimes you have people run into you that thought they would never have an accident.
Yeah.
And so they have no money and you have a wrecked car or, whatever. So there are risks that you don't think about all the time. And any kind of insurance is expensive. I mean, let's get real. It's expensive, but you're asking someone to share the risk with you. You've got a deductible or, you're only going to put certain amounts of coverage on there
Mhm.
because you think that if something happens,
Mhm.
then I can handle this little thing. I just can't handle losing the car and not having having to pay for a replacement itself,
Yeah.
or a home that burns to the ground.
Right.
So that's what you're paying for, is to share that risk. And we're here to kind of help you explain what could happen.
Well, and back to vehicles themselves. Just talking to somebody just last night about, the different vehicles we have in our family and how the technology has changed, how the design has changed,
Oh my
how,
gosh.
many more people used to be able to work on their cars at home on the weekends or at night.
Yeah.
That's less and less likely to happen anymore just because of the way cars are built. And so even the vehicles themselves are more expensive to repair.
Oh, exactly. And that's one of the biggest issues with the rates going up. I remember the time where it's like, oh yeah, I can buff that out.
Sure.
You can't buff anything out anymore because there are sensors all over your car, which make it safer but more expensive. There's styrofoam behind your bumpers, which crack and crumble if somebody just bangs into it and you don't even see that. Now, when you get your windshield replaced, it has to be calibrated because there are cameras and sensors in the
Sure,
front.
yeah.
There's rain sensors on the glass, so that automatically those wipers go. I mean, it's real Buck Rogers kind of stuff.
Oh, very good reference. I like that. Thank you, Buck Rogers. I like it.
Well, that really dates me. Oh my gosh!
Well, but with the changing climate of insurance, you've adapted, and you mentioned advertising, and I remember you see maybe an ad from State Farm, and on the back of a magazine or a newspaper
Sure.
page, it would be a home and some words. there wouldn't be characters, there wouldn't be celebrities.
No.
It would just be, don't you
Yeah.
you want to protect this or whatever, or maybe
Mhm.
a picture of a family on vacation. That would be it. And now
Exactly.
it's every other commercial, television, radio, internet.
Yeah.
It's
A-
everywhere.
And I think because of all the gaming and things that are on our devices and on TV, it's got to be fast and flashy and
Right.
funny.
Right.
And a lot of times it really doesn't explain anything
Right.
about why you should buy it. It's just, hey, here I am, and I'm funny and clever, and I just want you to remember my name, Karen Wilson. Uh,
Perfect.
but
Perfect.
so
Yeah.
it's gotten to be an entertainment, and quite honestly, some of the games I've watched, the commercials have been more fun to watch than the games, but, um,
It is
it's a
interesting though what's
different
happened in
real
20
it's
years. Yeah.
yes, and 20 short years, it has changed so much,
Yeah.
so much.
Talk about the importance of being part of the community. That was pretty well, I think, laid out maybe with your family. That was kind of probably. I'm guessing that's an example. You've continued it on and
Sure,
probably taken it different
sure.
directions. But why has that been important to you in your business?
Well, I owe a lot to the people of this community and the community in general. I mean, my business is successful because of people doing business with me. And so I want my business to prosper. I want my community to prosper. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be a good neighbor,
Right.
as Arnold would say. Um, and giving back is just an important thing. It's something that I learned growing up. I feel passionately about, and I would hope that people doing business want to do business with people who give back or that have the community in mind. So, and education is a very important thing to me. And so I've been involved in a lot of different boards and things
Mhm.
related to education, but also community beautification and literacy,
Mhm.
trying to get people to keep that scooter's cup in the car until they can throw it in the trash or
Perfect. Good
recycle.
crossover. Bob would be happy to hear this one. That's good.
There you go. So, you know, um, I, it's just in my DNA, and I hope it's in a lot of other people's DNA. And um, if I'm going to do anything, I want to err on the side of good and
Mm.
not just being selfish.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay.
Talk about the need for agents in your line
Oh
of work. I
gosh.
mean, because you obviously get to a point where you're going to be done working and retire,
Right.
and other people will come along. But uh,
Sure.
what do you tell a younger person who's thinking of, is this a career for me? What would you be your selling points?
Oh gosh. With State Farm, we have the model. It's not really a franchise, but we represent State Farm solely. Um, the customers belong to State Farm and not to me, but I can run my office the way it works in my area versus employees where everybody, whether you live in Seattle or Alton or, Connecticut somewhere, we're all different. And so I need to know what people are going through in this community. So that's a big piece there. But owning your own business, running your own team, and connecting with your customers is really important. And you're educating people. You're also there to help them possibly through some of the worst things that would ever happen to them in their lives, whether it's home insurance, car insurance, life insurance,
Mm.
to be there and help them navigate that and to replace what's important to them. Um, it doesn't seem like a noble profession, but I feel like it is. we can have discussions about what's important to you, Mark, and what do you need to protect, and then be there when you need it.
Yeah. And the idea of getting that type of customer service online, at least for me, it seems foreign. I would rather speak to you, speak to
Right.
somebody else
Right.
when I'm dealing with, something that I've frankly given a lot of money to. If you've paid
Oh,
over
yes.
the years, or been a State
Yeah.
Farm customer over the years,
Mhm.
or whatever it is, it's still for me something about having, again, this conversation
Right.
as opposed to texting a conversation about,
It-
hey, can you help me fix this or
Exactly.
that?
And even people, and I am a self-sufficient kind of person. I like to go online. I like to drive through. I like to
You've texted me, but
text
we've
it.
texted back and
Yes,
forth. Yes,
yeah.
you can do it.
I like that, but I also have a relationship with the people that I'm texting and
There you go.
talking to,
Right.
and so they kind of keep an eye on me, and I keep an eye on them, and it's a little different, because even if I haven't talked to you and we've done most of the things through email or whatever, I know that, they know that I live here,
Mhm.
that I understand the hailstorm that went through, or
That may have hit your house too.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. And so, it just helps to have someone that, if nothing else, you can come storm into my office and ask me what the heck's going on, and we're there. My team and I are there to
Yeah.
understand and help as best we can. Everybody's got a story about what went sideways, and those are unfortunate.
Sure.
But having a relationship with someone locally is pretty
Yeah.
essential, I think, in this business.
So Karen, this show, we thank the Riverbend Growth Association for helping you line this up. Debbie Hagan help line up our guests and do this every month. What have you enjoyed about that relationship? You've been involved with the Growth Association, off and on over the years too, for
Gosh.
sure. Yeah, probably mostly on than off, I'm guessing.
Well, I just something like this, but also keeping me on the forefront of what's happening in the business world, and an advocate for business in the area, because what's good for scooters is
Sure.
good for me, Karen Wilson, and our business. Godfrey, Alton, we're all, high tide lifts all boats. It's an old phrase, but I truly believe in it, that even if we're in competition, we're all still sort of together
Yeah.
on things.
And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't ask about your sign out front of your of your business, and when are you changing it? And what is it going to say next?
No kidding. It's time to change it. Thanks.
I'm saying
Mark.
that because before the show, Bob was asking about the signs. And we
Yes.
were joking about the
Oh.
signs, but it's just, it is one of those things that may seem silly, but here we're talking about it.
Sure,
And people
sure.
stop you and ask you about, well, where'd you come up with that? Or that was a
Exactly.
lame joke today. Or you're advertising for an event. You've done that before
Right.
too.
And
so
and that's a big thing.
it's just those little community things, I think.
The community events, we want to be sure to let people know about those. And then the funny or the thought-provoking are there. We've had people pull off, get out, take a picture of our sign. So, who knows?
Right.
We're trying to think of a weather-related, heat-related message for our sign this week. So stay tuned.
Okay.
It should change probably this afternoon. Now that you
Okay.
brought it up, it will change.
Okay, this record on a Wednesday,
Yes,
so if it's
yes.
not Wednesday, make sure you drive by
That's
to
true.
see it. If people want to know more about your agency, State Farm, Karen, how do they contact you?
Well, you can go on KarenWilsonINS.com. INS is short for insurance. Call us at 618-466-5774, or just drop by. We're there. We're
There you
real
go.
people.
If you're out there taking a picture by the sign,
That's right.
knock
That's
on the
right.
door and walk in and say, hey, like your sign, or ask an insurance question. They can probably help you out.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, we'd love to.
Thank you for all the visits that you've done here with us, the Big
Thank
Z.
you.
Appreciate you doing this today, and we'll,
Thanks.
I'm sure, talk again soon.
Great.
Karen
Wonderful.
Wilson with State Farm Insurance with us, part of Let's Talk Business today on the Big Z. We'll pause here for a quick message, come back with more conversation, rounding out Let's Talk after this.